So I think of St. Paul, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And so that passion that you talk about, the passion that we often experience and the energy that we often experience, man, it is very easy to see and feel sometimes when the body is tired or weary or, unwilling sometimes, but it's the Spirit of Christ that compels us to get up and do what we do, gives us energy for the task.
That and having like real communion, real partnership in ministry. I think like both of us we both have like a billion kids between the two of us, and oftentimes like I'm exhausted. I don't want to leave. We talk about it all the time. It's like home with my wife and my kids is where. That's where I want to be always. Yeah. And the Lord calls us out, but it helps tremendously when you get to the place where you're going to go do a mission and you have a brother there that is on the same. So we do like coals sitting in a fire together. We're actually hotter together. So
hotter.
Hot.
Yeah.
You're hot.
So, what connected to this event? Does it ignite your fire a little bit more than some others? Is it one of the bigger events you do, speaking or playing music? How does it compare?
Yeah, this is one of the larger events I do for sure. I came to the March for Life, we both did as college students, and I looked forward to that pilgrimage every year. Both of us grew up in Texas, so I never went to the March for Life before. I was a student in Ohio. And I think it's invigorating to just be around. We were talking about the energy that comes with a crowd, that's thinking the same, that's breathing the same, that's like focused on the same mission. There's an energy that happens, and I just think it's inspiring because, as Ennie says so often from the stage, if we're paying attention at all to the news, to anything that's current out there on social media, a lot of it's just really heavy, really negative. There's a lot of stuff out there that can really steal your joy and steal your thunder and make you kind of feel like the world's going crazy.
We have a unique view of the world, I think, because we are given so much hope, I think. We're given so much hope every time we do an event like this because, whereas other folks are just watching the news and seeing what's negative, we get to, with events and things, we get to so often see, no, the church is not dying. Yeah. The church is alive. The young church is strong and passionate, and they're world changers. And, that's so it does, it gives us a little bit more energy for the mission, I think, when we serve in a place like this.
To remind us and all the teens that were here today, that our faith is not just a theory, that it's not just a set of beliefs, but an encounter, a true authentic encounter with Christ compels us to act as well. And so our faith is both belief and action.
Yeah, it's not just philanthropy.
Right.
It's not just like we want to do good, or we want to, we're actually a part of the body. And there's nothing better than, having, were there 3 bishops here today? Yeah, 3 bishops, like a sea of priests.
Yep. Seminarians.
Feeling that communion with the entire church.
31 seminarians.
So that, it does. I think we do have, it's such a blessing to do what we do. I think, and people ask me, ask you all the time, like, well, how did you get into this? Or how did you, what strategies can I take? Or things like that. And I'm always like, I have no idea. I really honestly, like, there are certain gifts and talents and skills that we got, but it has been all blessing for all the years that we've been able to do that.
Yep.
Would you want to answer that question? What would you say to someone who wants to do this, like a young person who wants to do this?
Yeah.
What you're doing?
We don't.
I'm just kidding. No, but I think to that. I think that. Well, one thing that I would always say is, if you're called, someone will call you. Like, when you're living a life that is that is evident that you are in a relationship with Christ, people will be attracted to that, and they'll want to hear from you. They'll want you to share. They'll want you to be a part of their thing. You know, I don't know. I don't think I've ever promoted. You know, I mean, like you've got albums and stuff that you gotta get. You know, say, hey, I did an album, but like for the most part, both Ben and I and many of our, you know, compadres in ministry, this isn't something that it wasn't a career path that we took in order to like get on stage or anything like that. So I think that again, it's just been a blessing. God, you know, whenever we were teenagers, you know, or you know, young in college, God really blessed us with a spirit that impelled us.
Yeah, and God can do a lot with raw material. Amen.
Even better with people who are a mess.
Yeah, and who know they're a mess. Yeah, so I just agree with that. I did want to be a career musician in high school, but had this whole other kind of plan in my mind. And I remember when things changed. I was a junior and felt very, very clearly the call to give that gift to the Lord. And there's people that can sing and play circles around me. I know that. You know, there's performers and great artists out there that are amazing at what they do. But to be called to do this in ministry is a very different thing. And it's an awareness that all of our passion and all of our any power or ability that we have to convict hearts or to set that stage for conversion, it comes from the Lord. It comes from the Holy Spirit, and we know that. We've been around
that's
long
the
enough to see
necessary. Yeah, I would say that. Like in answer to that question, I think the necessary ingredient is understanding your own need. You know, more than anything else, you're understanding your own need, because if you're not hungry for the Lord, you'll never be able to consume Him. You know, and then to you know, to get in the way. So I think staying. It's been a grace as well. I'm not saying I'm the humblest person in the world. That's kind of contradictory. But I'm saying like that is that necessary ingredient to pray for humility. That like what we do is just a piece of the whole puzzle. Because really, like what we honestly, it's easy compared to the work that these people are doing in their parishes. You know, the catechists, the youth ministers, the chaperones, the priests, you know, people that are on the ground doing things. That's they're my heroes.
Absolutely.
What we do is, you know,
it is
quite easy compared to, you know,
Yeah, so I spent last academic year traveling full time and just accepting invitations to come and do ministry, to come and lead worship, that's so much in my heart. But at the end of the year, and we have a lot of friends that live that way, that kind of travel from city to city, kind of itinerant ministry, you know. And at the end of the year, I realized, gosh, the people that I envy the most are the DREs and the youth ministers and the campus ministers and the people that are on the ground, the foot soldiers, you know, the people that are with the troops on the ground, you know,
and then they get to
offering
go home
assistance
and have a bourbon.
And then they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But they're doing the hardest work, you know. So I think God always calls us there first. And if we're faithful to that, then maybe some of us will be called to do this kind of thing.
So now you're full time.
Yeah. So at the end of the school year last year, I just sensed a huge desire in me to be on the ground again and in relationship with real people, not just blowing here to there. So now in the fall, I took a full-time position in campus ministry, and I love getting to know my students and getting to know my colleagues and knowing that very slowly, it's not about striking a match and causing an explosion or big changes, but forming relationships. And as Ennie said today and last night, making sure that we're loving the people in our immediate perimeter. I've heard you say that, you know, our 10-foot perimeter, the people that are right around us. And it doesn't make any sense to go out to the world and do awesome things if we're not taking care of this right here. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.